huge news on Twitter, news that I'm at least 55% surprised by. The Elon Musk Twitter deal is going through. You know, very often I predict the future. I've got my Nostradamus hat. I've got my crystal ball. This I did not predict. I'm not entirely surprised by it, but I thought that Elon Musk was basically creating a big publicity storm, but ultimately faking it when he was trying to buy Twitter. And that I actually may have been right in the sense that he did seem to try to get out of the Twitter deal. From the legal perspective, it started to look like he was not going to be let out of the Twitter deal, so he was just going to be forced by the courts to buy Twitter anyway or pay huge fines. And so now Elon Musk has said, okay, I will buy Twitter for the price that I initially said I would buy it for. And Twitter has accepted Musk's offer. Twitter issued a statement today, quote, or yesterday rather, we received the letter from the Musk parties, which they have filed with the SEC. The intention of the company is to close the transaction at $54.20 per share. So this is great. Whether Musk has to buy it now because he really wants to buy it, or whether it's because he's forced to buy it by circumstances, which I think is probably more likely. Either way, it's great. Elon Musk running Twitter is going to be a huge improvement over the lib oligarchs who control it now, who are putting their thumb, not just their thumb on the scales, they're putting their whole foot on the scales for the libs when it comes to elections, and we've got one of those coming up, but also when it comes to just the regular day-to-day of politics. They suppress the conservatives, they amplify the liberals. So yeah, that's great. However, this doesn't solve the problem. I've been talking for the past couple days on this show about how the left and the right have given away our self-government to private corporations and to more private interests. And yes, those corporations work in tandem with certain parts of the state, but the corporations are even less accountable than the state in many cases. Why has the left done this? Well, because they don't have to deal with that sort of accountability. So the left can create a bunch of front groups. The left can, you see this with BLM and Antifa. The left doesn't want to go in most cases, and actually send the police to attack their political opponents. They do it sometimes. They use the FBI in this way. They just used it against Donald Trump. They're using it against pro-lifers. But usually what the left prefers to do when it wants to threaten and inflict political violence on its opponents is it uses these sort of paramilitary front groups for the Democratic Party. That would be BLM or Antifa. And they go and they burn and they rape and they kill and they pillage. And then after months and months of this, they get maybe a little slap on the wrist. They say, naughty, naughty, don't do that again. But if you do, we'll bail you out. Thanks. Thanks for the help, Antifa. Thanks for the help, BLM. Kamala Harris is going to go raise money now so you don't have to sit in the clink for too long. So that's very often what they do. And it gives them a lot of cover from accountability. Well, why do the conservatives do it? The conservatives have given away self-government in the name of economic growth. They've said, well, listen, the government's very inefficient, private industry is very efficient, and so, which is, private industry might be more efficient than the government, but there's bureaucracy in private industry also. And so they say, okay, we're going to have public-private partnerships, we're just going to privatize things entirely, and that's great, and that'll be much freer. It's because of a strain of libertarianism that really crept into the conservative movement in the latter part of the 20th century. And they say, private, always good, public, always bad. And so what does that do? Well, in some cases it improves things, but when we're talking about free speech, when we're talking about the public square, if you privatize the public square, now all of a sudden you've got a handful of oligarchs. It's not like it's some thriving free market with lots and lots of players. You're talking about 3 or 4 people, right? You're talking about Facebook, Twitter, Google. That's it, right? We got Mark Zuckerberg, Jack Dorsey, or now Elon Musk, okay, that's an improvement, and Sundar Pichai. They're controlling the public square. And they're even less accountable than members of Congress are to us. That's no good. The Elon Musk purchase of Twitter doesn't solve the problem. It improves things tactically for a little while. But we need to figure out a way, if we are to restore any semblance of self-government and the traditional American way of life. It's not enough to say, okay, well, we've got our billionaire corporate CEO running things. Good. They previously had their billionaire corporate CEO, but now we've got our billionaire. No, if we want to restore any semblance of self-government, We need to say, no. The corporations actually don't get to run the whole government. They have a lot of power, but we, the people in the political community, we're going to wield some power too. And you're seeing this for so many years. The Republicans just carried water for corporations, frequently corporations that hated our guts. And now you really saw it starting with Trump. You see it especially with DeSantis. You're starting to see that turn. No longer do we hear, well, if you don't like half the country being censored and the president of the United States being deplatformed, then, build your own Twitter. No, I don't think we're going to do that. I think we're going to take over Twitter, perhaps through private means first, like Elon Musk. I think he's certainly more on our side than the other guys are. But then we're going to exert influence on Twitter as a political community. That is very much our right. It's actually our obligation if we want to have a constitutional republic. Speaking of pushing these narratives, speaking of everything, every single thing becoming super duper gay, we have got a trailer for this movie that my producers insist that I watch. It's called Bros. It's a movie. It didn't do very well, apparently, at the box office on opening weekend. It's apparently very, very gay. The producers want to know if I should review this movie, give an actual proper review. We'll take a look at the trailer together. You tell me if we should review the movie. The rest of the show is continuing now. You don't want to miss it. If you're not a member, click the link in the description and join us.